Hello, welcome to today's review video where I'm going to be talking about Moonbeam, which is a project building on the Polkadot ecosystem, of course, on Substrate, and they're trying to become a parachain on Polkadot. And it's been a while since I've done a review video. It was mostly news recently because we just had so many. So I really wanted to pick this back up again and start doing reviews like I used to do from Polka project. Now, Moonbeam is Substrate based and it's use case is mostly for smart contracts. Now, what's interesting about Moonbeam is like unlike any other project, they're trying to pretty much enable Ethereum compatible smart contracts to actually build on Moonbeam to be able to interoperate with Polkadot and all the different chains that are on Polkadot, all the different parachains. So that's really interesting because there are just so many smart contracts on Ethereum. So if there's any kind of incentive to move to Polkadot, well, Moonbeam is the one, right? Moonbeam is the one that's going to give them that opportunity. And you'll find out in this video why I'm actually so bullish on Moonbeam. I've heard about them before. Somebody in my community raised this project to me, but I haven't looked at it in depth. So that's why I wanted to do this review. And obviously I had a look at it. And I want to split it into different sections. So we're going to be talking, I'm going to give you an overview of what Moonbeam is all about here initially. So one of the pros of Moonbeam, right, with regards to smart contracts being portable is that somebody who has created a smart contract on Ethereum does not need to rewrite or reconfigure the smart contract, right? It's going to work right away. So the config changes are minimal, right? So that's one of the easiest things to do, right, when you want to port over from one blockchain to another. Now the tools, you can use the Ethereum based tools like MetaMask, Remix, and Truffle. So that's another pro here because developers are used to using the Ethereum tools. They've been building on Ethereum. Like the majority of the developer force is on Ethereum. Now, familiar smart contract languages, so they are supporting Solidity, which is the programming language for Ethereum, Viber, and anything that compiles, right? Then there are pre-built integrations as well for assets like DOT and ERC20s and infrastructure services like Chainlink and the Graph. Now, it's very important, right? Because as I was saying, we need to have interoperability. We need to be able to migrate different projects, different dApps across from Ethereum over to Polkadot and vice versa, right? And especially until Ethereum 2.0 is going to be out and the Ethereum fees, the transaction fees are going to continue to grow. I mean, some folks have reported they've been paying over $100 to perform an Ethereum transaction yesterday. I'm not even sure what it is today, probably even more because the price of Ethereum has gone up. So absolutely insane. So that's why people are moving over to Polkadot now, and people as in the projects, right? They're building on Polkadot and they're trying to find ways to bring that crowd over from Ethereum to Polkadot. Now, you can grow your project with multi-chain. So Moonbeam does actually help projects expand. It helps them reach new users and markets with a multi-chain approach. So I'm going to be talking about that in a moment, but basically you can gain immediate access to DOT, KSM, native Polkadot assets like Glimmer and AUSD, plus other bridged assets such as Bitcoin and Ethereum-based ERC20s. It is a growing ecosystem, so you can enjoy the first mover advantage by deploying early to Polkadot, Polkadot's rapidly expanding parachain ecosystem. And this is the list of projects that are building on Moonbeam, and we're actually going to see that when we go to this section here to continue on, which is the list of projects. So we've got Razor Chain Safe here, which I haven't heard of, but I have heard of Cross Network. I've done a review on them. I've also heard of Ocean Protocol, but I have not reviewed them yet. Polkadot.js, which is the the browser-based extension, the web extension for Polkadot, where you're basically storing your wallet, and then SushiSwap, which is very famous, of course, MetaMask, which is also famous, Chainlink, the biggest Oracle solution that there is on the market at the moment. Equilibrium is another project. IDEX, which is the decentralized exchange on Ethereum. So all of these projects are going to look at Moonbeam, right? And also Kilt, which is another one I want to talk about in a future review, probably tomorrow. Now, there is an ambassador program for Moonbeam. So if you want to become an ambassador to contribute, you can, but you will not be paid. Okay, just to make that clear, I have looked at the options here. This is basically, these are the benefits that you get. Resources, okay, guidance directly from the team, networking with other members, early access to events and bounties and hackathons and things like that, and also swags. You get those as well. Now, of course, how can you contribute? Well, you can contribute by creating videos, by creating writing articles about Moonbeam, spreading the word on Twitter, you know, things like that. Basically what I'm doing right now, except I'm not an ambassador, right? But for me, this is like a one-off review, and then I'll likely do news videos as soon as we get updates, because this is the whole purpose of doing these reviews, to get a general idea, to educate myself and to educate you, and then later we can look at the news to see how these projects progress. Now, the next thing that they've got here, which is really important, and I've only seen this from the Web3 Foundation so far within the Polkadot ecosystem. Now, Moonbeam do actually have a lot of funding because they've got a grant program. So basically, aside from motivating people to migrate their smart contracts because it's so easy to switch for cheaper fees, they're also assuming that you need funding, right? Because you need to start an application here. As you can see, you need to fill in that application. Assuming that you qualify, that you meet the requirements, you're going to receive funding from Moonbeam to build on Moonbeam, right? So that's awesome. So the fact that they're funding gives them more credibility in the sense that this project has a lot of potential to grow, right? Now, let's talk about the next thing here, which is the token, because everybody's interested in this. I'm also interested in this. Many people are. When you understand what a project is doing, well, what do we know so far? We know that Moonbeam are basically trying to make smart contracts from Ethereum scalable, or not only scalable, but portable. So that's great, right? Because you can bring anything over to Polkadot from Ethereum, right? So simple as that, right? Without complicating your life too much, going into the details. But of course, you need the tokens as well. So here it comes, right? So the first one is the parachain on Kusama that they're planning to launch in Q1 of 2021. And this is just to reiterate that Kusama's parachain is likely going to happen either, or not one parachain, but the parachain auctions launch is going to happen either this month or next month at the latest. The code should be ready. I believe they're doing the final checks now, but every time I check Kusama's Twitter page, they're not telling us anything else. They've hyped us back in December, I think, or November, but that was the last hype we got. So yeah, just to continue on here, River. Okay, so this is going to be the equivalent on Kusama. This is basically their experimental network, right? It should behave the same as Moonriver. The tokenomic behaviors on Moonriver will be the same as Moonbeam. So River is the name of the token, but Moonriver is the network. Okay, so just to not confuse this. Now, the token will be different in order to support, the distribution of the token will be different in order to support the unique goals and attributes of the network. Moonriver will serve as the canary net for Moonbeam, but it will also be a community-led experiment where the community will decide the direction it takes. Among other things, Moonriver will use a large parachain crowd loan to obtain its initial parachain slot on Kusama. So just to go back to the parachain slots here and the parachain auctions, is that you need to have a way to convince the community and to motivate the community to actually vote for you, right? Because the community needs to buy Kusama if they don't already hold it, and they need to lock it up for up to 2 years. It's their choice. I think you can go as low as 3 months for Kusama, as far as I'm aware, but up to 2 years, right? So locking it up for 2 years is a long time. Like, these people are gonna miss out on the staking reward, so you better make sure that you offer them something good, right? And I'm not referring to Moonbeam here and Moonriver, but it's just in general, like speaking in general. So yeah, of course, they're going to do the same as Akala are doing with Polkadot, and Karura are going to do on Kusama. Moonriver is going to do the same on Kusama. They're going to have a certain amount of tokens and they're going to be paying the community for marketing, right? Not for marketing, but to motivate them to lock up their Kusama. Now, as Moonriver network is still under development, the information on this page may change before the public launch of the network. The last update was on the 15th of January this year. Now, why am I bullish on this? Well, the Genesis token supply. So what this means is basically when the parachain auction, when the parachain auction is won and the parachain starts on Kusama, then with the very first block, which is the Genesis, we're going to see 10 million being minted, right? 10 million tokens or coins being minted. I'm not even sure they're called coins, because at the end of the day, a parachain is like a configurable blockchain, so they should be called coins, but I have heard the Akala team call them tokens. So perhaps they are tokens. Now there is an annual inflation rate because this is stakeable. You can actually stake it for rewards. So it's only 5%, right? Only 5%, and it's uncapped, so it's going to continue to grow. But again, it's exactly the same with Kusama, right? It's uncapped as well. Transaction fees. Now 80% get burned. This is interesting, and 20% go to the treasury. Okay, they need to go to the treasury because the treasury then incentivizes the community in various ways, and the treasury also needs to be incentivized, right? So yeah, the name of the token is River. It's not launched yet. We don't have any information on when this is going to be available until, you know, like what I'm trying to say here is like they're not trying to do create an ERC20 version, right? This is just so you know. So if you see a River token out there and they're trying to associate themselves to Moonbeam, no, they're not. Until the Kusama parachain auctions start, and if Moonbeam or Moonriver successfully bonds, then we're not going to see it. We're not going to see the token. Okay, and here there's the name again, once again, token name. So it looks like parachains are not gonna have coins, but they're gonna have tokens, even though they're gonna have their own block explorer, blockchain explorer, and so on. Now the next thing I want to talk about is Glimmer. So exactly the same as River, except it's on the Moonbeam network, and this is of course going to be on Polkadot. And I really like the way they're designed this here. Really simple to understand. What do people want to know? Okay, what's the name of your network? Moonbeam. What's the relay chain? Polkadot. What's the token name? Glimmer, with the ticker symbol GLMR. When's the anticipated launch? Q2 of 2021. What's the smallest unit? 10 to the power of 18. Now Genesis token supply, exactly the same as Moonriver, 10 million. Annual inflation rate, exactly the same, 5%. So they're not changing, right? Now with some projects, like for example Chainx and SharePikes, have different tokenomics between Kusama's version, which is the experimental network, and Polkadot's version, whereas Moonbeam, no. Moonbeam is going to have exactly the same. Exactly the same for the transaction fees. Now, this is the primary deployment of Moonbeam, and it will be on Polkadot network with an associated token called Glimmer, as we've said before. And as the Moonbeam network is still under development, the information on this page may change. Okay, so they're just reiterating. Now, the next thing I want to talk about here is the team, because we don't have any information on the team. I've tried to look through their website, but the only place I could find it was in the events section. They've got a couple of events going on here. So there's this video that basically talks about Moonbeam. So if you watch this it's a technical video. It basically tries to explain Moonbeam in more detail, right, than I'm doing. So this diagram here is actually really cool, right? They're comparing the computing in the 80s and the 90s with blockchain today. And here we can see Chainx, which is of course one that I'm very bullish on. And we can see other ones too here. Seller. We can see, who can we see here? Darwinia as well. Kilt is also here. Plasm, Bifrost, and so on. And of course Polkadot in the middle is the relay chain. And then we see all the different native blockchains, Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS, and so on, all connecting to this network, right, to the substrate framework. So yeah, I mean, absolutely bullish on this. I'm really looking forward to it, to see the launch, right? And yeah, I'll probably be taking part in the parachain auctions too. And again, this isn't financial advice, but let me know what you'll do. I'm curious to get your thoughts. But yeah, personally, I really like the supply. Just to kind of give my final thoughts on this, I like their idea of what they're trying to do to help bring projects or smart contracts over, to migrate their smart contracts over to Polkadot, over to Moonbeam. So yes, definitely. And the fact that they're offering funding as well, I think that Moonbeam do have a potential. But the last thing I want to talk about here, because the team is not available anywhere, you can't find them. However, if you're interested to find out who the CEO is, it's this guy here, Derek Yu. So he actually introduces himself here. He's actually the CEO of Pure Stake, but is also the founder of the Moonbeam project, which is going to be, of course, the parachain on Polkadot. So yeah, do check this video out if you want to get more info on that. But yeah, as in the team, like leadership and stuff like that, you can't find any info on that. So you would say they're anonymous, except for this specific event video where you could see the CEO. So yeah, this is pretty much it from today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think, as always, in the comments below, and I'll see you in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.